Welcome to Soap Hub Says. I'm Amber Sinclair, managing editor of SoapHub.com.
I'm Alina Adams, a Soap Hub writer who writes those spoilers for you. And I also have written a book. It's called Go On Pretending. You can see it behind me right there, so you can keep an eye on it while we talk. And surprise, surprise, it's also about soaps.
It's been almost 2 months, and you know the Soap Hub Says drill by now. We're talking about what we loved, what we hated, and to ask a couple questions we'd love to hear your answers to.
Last week, we quoted Mean Girls when it came to Beyond the Gates, Andre and Ashley. I believe we said, stop trying to make Andre and Ashley happen. They're not going to happen. Now we want to hear from you. Tell us which couples you feel like that about. Why are the shows pushing them if they're never going to work? Tell us in the comments or email us. So we're talking about couples that aren't working even though the shows are trying to shove them down our throat. Here's a pairing I want to talk about that I think is working. General Hospital, Anna and Liesl Obrecht. I know we're supposed to call her Liesl now, but you'll forgive me. I'm just going to keep calling her Obrecht. Those scenes they had were good. I mean, when she asked her, what advice would you give your daughter? And she said, I would tell her not to fall in love with the megalomaniac Danish terrorist. That's good advice. I mean, you have a daughter, right, Amber? I have a daughter.
Yes, I do.
Something that I would tell them. But then they have Anna talking about, oh, I wish I hadn't joined the WSB. But if she hadn't joined the WSB, there would have been no relationship with Robert. Now, granted, there would have been no Robin. And I think I've already outed myself as if Robin wasn't in the world, my life would perhaps even be better. But from Anna's perspective, if she hadn't joined the WSB, there wouldn't have been Robin, and there wouldn't have been Robert and Robin. There we go. I got that. Robert and Robin. So let's say Anna made a good choice. And to be frank, if she hadn't been in the WSB, we might never have met her. We might never have gotten Finola Hughes. And I do like Finola Hughes. And I
love her so much.
Yeah, I even watched her a little bit on All My Children. See, my husband was the All My Children watcher. That's how we knew we were a mixed marriage. He watched All My Children. I watched General Hospital. And he loved David Hayward. So he loved when Anna was married to David Hayward. I didn't watch as much, but I did watch the Anna and Robin reunion on All My Children, which played out on All My Children, not General Hospital. Because even though my feelings for Robin are well known, I will agree that they played an amazing mother-daughter relationship. Finola Hughes, Kimberly McCullough were really, really great. But anyway, speaking of daughters who won't marry Danish terrorists, megalomania. No, just a regular Danish terrorist is fine. It's a megalomaniacal. Did I get that right? That's a lot of things. So let's talk about Obrecht's daughter, Britt. Britt thought Jason was dead. Jason thought Britt was dead. Wacky. Isn't that wacky? But here's my concern, and we just saw this with Lucky. When they brought Lucky back, they kept him off playing poker with Holly for a really long time. I mean, he had that fantasy sequence with Elizabeth, and they're doing the same thing with Britt. They're keeping her away so long. I know they think they're building tension, but I think it's killing the drama.
Same. Like, he sets eyes on her in an airport and doesn't scream her name and run to her.
I mean, Jason's not a shy boy. I mean, he's a mob. He could have killed all the people between them just to get to her. It's just, I feel like they're making the same mistake they did with Lucky, so that by the time he finally hit poor Charles, it was kind of anticlimactic because we know he and now she are around. So I love Britt and I love Lucky, but I just don't love their reintroductions either way.
No, there could have been a much better way to bring Britt back.
Yeah. So in
totally agree.
Better things. So Willow went whining to Chase about
all people.
Did she pull a name out of a hat? Was he the first person she's? I mean, do we remember the little detail where Willow slept with Michael while married to Chase?
But I needed Chase to say to her, like, yeah, same.
I know you should have said, I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, I know what it's like to be cheated on.
Yeah, he called out Michael for cheating, but he didn't call out Willow. So I'm a little confused, but there's a lot of things confusing me in that storyline. Sidwell's plan. Let's discuss Sidwell's plan. Sidwell bribed the judge to give Michael custody of Wiley and Amelia so that Michael will think Sonny did it and Michael will be mad at Sunny. Why Michael would be mad at Sunny? Michael not happy and say thank you, Papa?
Like, is no, I don't want my kids. What are you doing?
I kept thinking I was missing a step in the plan. Because
I
I
don't
mean,
get it.
Sidwell's much smarter than me. I mean, I don't run international corporations, but I'm very confused. Michael has shown not only that he will agree with everything Sonny does, even when it's criminal, but especially when the criminal thing is done to help Michael. So Sidwell has a bad researcher. You know, I've worked as a researcher. I worked as a researcher for the Daytime Emmys. I've worked as a researcher for ABC Sports. I've compiled research, and I think Sidwell has a very bad researcher because he gave them the impression that Michael would be upset if he thought Sonny bribed a judge. At least, unless I'm missing some key piece of the story.
And as if that would be abnormal for Sunny.
Yeah. So do you understand this? I was actually going to ask you this. I didn't ask you this before. I was going to ask you on camera because I was hoping. Do you understand this story any better than I
don't
do?
get it because I was like, wait, you want him to be mad for his dad getting him his kits?
Okay, so
It should have gone the other way around. Like, make it look like Sonny was bribing the judge to get the kids to Willow, and Michael would definitely be mad about that.
Yeah.
But like, he's already fighting for custody. Obviously, he wants custody.
Yeah. So okay, so it's not just me. All right. So
No,
actually,
it's not just you. It's very confusing.
here's what we would like. We asked at the top for you to write us about couples that you think aren't going to happen. But if you have any opinion on anything else, please write in as well. Last week, we actually read some really great suggestions about
Yes.
Mr. Bad Murder Mystery. So we definitely want to hear from you. We want to hear your perspective. So if you understand the General Hospital storyline, please let us know. Please let us know. Meanwhile, we'll move over, while you think about that, we'll move over to The Young and the Restless. And okay, just like I've already said, my life would be fuller and maybe even richer without Robin on General Hospital. I think I've also made it very clear that I really do love Audra on The Young and the Restless.
Oh, she's the best.
And I think when she went off on Jack about how outsiders in Genoa City are hated for doing the exact same thing that the Abbotts and the Newmans do with impunity. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Wonderful. I loved it. I loved it. Now, I do wish I was sitting there going, do Victor next, do Victor next. But at least, you know what that means? It means someone in the writing room is aware of it. It means that it hasn't flown over their heads. So I loved that. I love the Audra and Sally friendship.
It's the best friendship on the show, hands down.
Absolutely. Possibly even on daytime right now.
Yeah.
They're both outsiders. So they are, to quote Hamilton, scrappy and hungry. I want to see them outsmart Victor. I want to see them outsmart Kane. I want to see them outsmart Phyllis. I want to see them outsmart Billy. I want to see them to outsmart all of them. I want them to. They won't. We know. You know they won't. I know they won't. The people at home know they won't. I would love to see, because the speech that Audra gave to Jack, she needs to give to everybody with just a couple of variations. Especially Kane, who is feeling very full of himself. I don't remember the earlier version of Kane being this smug. I don't. I mean, it's been several years. He was confident because, you know, when you look like that, you're going to be confident. But I don't remember him being this smug. But I must say, Kane explaining why Jill needs Billy now that Chance is dead, that was good too. As was Phyllis admitting, and those of you watching this may be shocked, because when Phyllis said, I'm a lot, I kind of felt that. I felt that I can be a lot. Just watching these segments, do you suspect that I can be a lot? So that spoke to me. Kane being sympathetic to Jill about losing Chance spoke to me. These both the Audra scene with Jack and the Kane and Phyllis and the Billy scenes were both on last week's Wednesday show. That was a good show.
It was a good show.
It was a good episode. There was some really good stuff there. I want to know what writer they allowed to write it. Now, I know how soaps work. I know it goes to the head writer. Oh, no, Young and the Restless doesn't have breakdown writers anymore. So from head writer straight to script writer, but that was a good show.
It was excellent.
More of that, please.
We need to talk about that Phyllis Kane thing where they're going to start hacking.
Yes. She said, can you hack in? Was it he wanted to hack into Jabot, right? Is that
Jabot, Newman, and Chancellor.
Well, considering that this is the woman who found Ashland Locke by hacking into what? What did she hack into? Remember when they wanted to figure out who Ashland Locke really was, and they found out that he had a friend with that? What did she hack into? Is there a registry somewhere where you can put in
Right?
man who pretends to be dead but took somebody else's identity? What did she hack into?
Like, she is a very good researcher. That's who Sidwell should hire.
Ah, good point. Good point. That's what she should. And while they're hacking into whatever it is they're hacking into, I have to say, I'm not hating the possibility of a Phyllis and Kane relationship, mainly because they're both awful and slimy and they deserve each other. And if either of them was with a nice normal person, that's not fair to the nice normal person. Like, remember how Phyllis treated Jack, and Lily
And Nick.
yeah, and Nick, and Lily's sort of not feeling the warm fuzzies of seeing the father of her children, but them being together takes them out of circulation. So they
Yes.
can be toxic to each other, and they probably love it. That's the whole thing. Kane can feed Phyllis's narcissism.
Yes.
Phyllis can feed Kane's narcissism, and they can leave nice, normal people alone. So I don't hate it. I think it would be an interesting relationship. It's not a relationship I'd be rooting for, like one that I care about,
Yeah.
but it's one that I'd be happy to see them just together so they're not bothering anyone else.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. Plus, they do have that like hint of like really kind of dirty chemistry. And I need them to sleep together just once.
Yeah,
Just,
well,
just once. At least once. More than once, but like, can we start with once?
and so it's one that I didn't think about it when it started. Because she was so insane and hysterical about wanting to talk to Dema. I wasn't thinking of any kind of romantic connection, but
No,
it could work. It could work. It could
it
absolutely
could
work.
work.
You know what's working? What's working on Beyond the Gates is Trisha Mann Grant as Leslie / and the woman is a superstar in
Give
the
her all the awards.
yeah, they
all of
stumbled on to a phenomenal find, but they are not giving Leslie any redeemable qualities, and that's not how you do a long-term villain. Think of all the long-term villains we've loved on soaps. Think of James Stenbeck and As the World Turns. For all of his, he eventually became a cartoon, but the through line was that he loved his son, even though it got very dark and weird towards the end, but he loved his son. Carl Hutchins on Another World loved his children. Adam Chandler on All My Children. Stefano DiMera on Days of Just today, Belle called out EJ saying, you're just like your father. You say everything is for the benefit of your family. Roger Thorpe and Alan Spaulding on Guiding Light. We could go on and on and on. But Leslie,
just look at Sheila on Young and Unfolding the Beautiful.
Yeah.
She is one of the biggest monsters in daytime, and she's sitting there crying over her granddaughter.
yeah, exactly.
All she's ever wanted was love, people.
Yeah,
All
and
she's ever wanted was love.
that's daytime. J.R. Ewing, if we go to prime time, loved his kid. But Leslie is awful to her daughter. Also, she steals like tickets out of her purse. She manipulates her. Now, Dorothy Lyman, who was the first actress to play Opal on All My Children. I worked on a show she was hosting that I worked on once, and she was talking about playing Opal. And in the original script, Opal was just nasty to her daughter, Jenny, played by the oh so angelic Kim Delaney. So, can you imagine someone being awful to Kim Delaney? And one of the things that Dorothy Lyman said that she did is whenever they would write her being nasty to Jenny, she would like grab her and hug her afterwards. Or if she had to slap her, she would grab and hug her to show that Opal is just, she loves her daughter so much. That's why this stuff comes out. And that's what made Opal a long-term character. Dorothy Lyman only played her, I think, for a couple of years. I think she won 2 Emmys for it. And the character was around as a recast with Jill Larson until the show went off the air. So you have to give them something. And honestly, a character who is not a good parent is like almost the worst in daytime villains, because most of the audience, a good number of them either are parents or were children at least. So they know what it's like to have
Well, that, like with Victor on Young and the Restless.
Yeah. I mean,
only loving half his children.
Well, yes, it's like I always say, Adam is his least favorite child because Abby doesn't even count. Does
Did
he
he
even?
even walk? Has he even ever walked Abby down the aisle? Let's be for real.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
pretty
even.
sure Abby has walked her poor self down the aisle for every wedding.
So that's what this show is missing. They have a superstar in Trisha Mann Grant, but they are writing Leslie so terribly. And the other thing is right now, Beyond the Gates is playing some really good family drama, But the only couple I care about is Vanessa and Doug. And I'm surprised because I didn't think I would from the beginning, but they've really got a dynamic I've never seen on soaps before. The actors have an interesting chemistry. They're the only pair I'm rooting for because while this soap really brings the family drama, they need more romance. I worked with Linda Gottlieb, who was the One Life to Live producer, again, on another show that I worked on. And one of the things she talked about that she regrets, One Life to Live did a whole storyline about the AIDS quilt where they actually shot on location. And they did a storyline about Roy Thins, who played Sloan, not accepting his son, who had died from AIDS. And she said the only thing she would have done differently about that story is she would have tied it into a romance because it was a social issue story, but it wasn't a romance. And she said, if you're doing soaps, whatever story you're doing has got to have a romance in it. And Beyond the Gates just doesn't. I mean, Andre and Danny are hot. Obviously, they should have.
Really go.
They're so hot, but I don't believe they're in love. I believe they're in something, and they might be someday, but they're not as of now. So I'm not invested because I don't think that they're in love.
No.
Everyone else, whether they're together, like Jacob and Naomi, or Bill and Haley, or Kat and Tomas, or Chelsea and Madison, or if they're apart, like, Martin and Smitty, Nicole and Ted, or Ashley and Derek, I just don't care. I like some of the scenes, the stories that they're in, but I'm not rooting for them to get together. None of them have a rooting value.
I gotta say,
go ahead.
I am rooting for Haley to win. I just don't want her to win with Bill.
Yes, but see, that's exactly it. That's good drama, but that's not a romance.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. None of them have rooting value. The only ones I'm rooting for are Vanessa and Doug. I fear Doug days are numbered based on what he's doing, but they're like the only story where I believe this is a couple that once were in love. I want them to fall in love again. That's the only story I care about. Meanwhile, they're killing it, as I said, with the family stuff. I really love Nicole and Danny have really found their groove as sisters.
Yes.
People playing Carla Mosley, great chemistry. I look forward to their scenes when they're just recapping. I think some of the stories on the show would work better if instead of us having to see them, we just had Danny and Nicole discussing what's happening. And also Shanice. Shanice is good as catching us up. I don't know if you ever saw the Ant-Man movies, but there's a character named Luis who does this thing where he talks about what happens and they cut to the scene, but it's all done in his voice. So I would think we should do an entire episode of Beyond the Gates where the episode's going on, but it's really just Nicole and Danny, like Luis narrating the story. It's classic soap. Back in the olden days, it was just people sitting over coffee discussing what was happening, right? So that's what I want. Nicole and Danny telling us all the stories like Luis on Ant-Man.
And speaking of couples people are not rooting for, we have to go to B&B with Ridge and Brooke. I have gotten, and I'm not kidding, at least 300 emails with fans furious that they are putting them back together. Like, they're like, we're done. We don't want this anymore. Give her to Nick. Leave him with Taylor. Like, this is enough. They are not destiny. I think I've gotten maybe 10 emails of people who are like, oh, my heart, I'm so glad. Right? Like, they're over it. They're over it. And it's just like so much history repeating itself over and over and over. And I really feel like Bold and the Beautiful needs to take a step back from Ridge and Brooke and let it lay down for a while and just die for just a couple of years, maybe 2 years, and then revisit it. I think they're doing too much. And they're not, Brooke and Ridge are just not the super couple that they were even 5 years ago.
Yeah. When do you think people started really losing interest? Do you think something specific happened?
I don't know. I think it's just like the whole back and forth and the back and forth and like the more back and forth and then like the current back and forth. For me, it was that episode where Brooke revisited her past loves. And I think I think it clicked for like me and some other fans that like, hey, this woman has so many other options. She does not need Ridge. She does not need Ridge. She is too good for him. I mean, Taylor's also too good for him, but
Taylor's not herself these days.
no. Plus, it stops Steffi from whining about it. So, because
Right,
Hope at least doesn't whine about my mother doesn't have her man. You know,
Hope has other things
So-
to worry about.
yeah, like Liam. And the Buckingham history also repeating itself, just in a very slightly different way. Instead of this stealing their children, they tried to steal Liam's entire life
And Brain.
from him.
And Liam
And
needs
Brain and $1 million. And this poor dude is still walking around with his head wrapped up because of a scratch.
Maybe
Liam,
it's a fashion statement. It's a fashion statement at this point.
yeah, Liam, honey, you can take it off now. Like the jig is up. You don't have to walk around looking like that anymore.
So
Like,
what do you
poor
think?
guy.
How should we punish Grace for this?
Okay. I know that there are people who want to see Grace in jail, but hear me out. She strikes a deal to out the bookies or whoever it was chasing them for money. She strikes a deal. She might lose her medical license, maybe. And then she gets into the fashion world and she gets with Ridge.
Ooh, 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 ooh. I like this. See, we don't discuss
Yeah,
this
see?
before we get on the air so we can surprise each other. I like
Right.
it. I was just going to say, she goes into the fashion business. Turns out she's a natural, just like everyone who has ever walked through those doors. But her and Ridge would be interesting. I mean, she's kind of Quinn-like.
Yes.
She's got some echoes of Quinn. Yeah, you're onto this. This is good.
Yeah. I like that.
Now,
And
what
then-
about Reese, though?
Pardon?
Reese.
Ooh. Reese needs to be punished.
So what do we
He
do?
does. I don't know, but what do you do? Add more jail time? Like, technically, I don't think he did anything aside from ask his ex-wife to clean up his mess.
Well,
Like, because he's in jail for the crime that she just paid off again. Like, that was one of the things I think he was convicted for. Like, but also, my dude, how much gambling did you do?
you should hang out with Doug on Beyond the Gates.
You gambled enough, you had to steal a baby. And there were more debts.
How much was that baby worth? What was that like?
Right?
A discount? It was a discount baby.
Like, my goodness. Like, from what I remember, Steffi and Taylor paid a hefty price for that child.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Right.
cost of living, inflation.
Right? Babies don't come cheap,
Babies on
right? Especially when you're buying it on the black market.
which is apparently
Right,
something
like-
also people have access to.
Yeah.
I have never walked down a dark alley and have someone offer me a baby. Have you?
But you haven't. It happens to me like every day.
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Like, listen, I can't even find a kitten. I haven't even been part of like the cat distribution system yet. Never mind getting a child handed to me out of nowhere. I did get a dog once. I went to the dog park with my dog Priya, and we came home with another dog that was just sort of like handed to me. So I mean that happened. I was part of the puppy
Yes, I
distribution
guess
system.
I just, I don't have a dog. Maybe you get a baby if you have a dog. Anyway, we seem to be going off on a tangent. So, but we were
Now-
just talking about how we've seen the same thing over and over again. Now, some shows call that history. What do you call it?
Yeah. Well, I call it like rinse and repeat because we are also doing it with Lee and Sheila, with Finn, but now it's Luna. Like, okay, you would think that after the Finn thing, the hospital would be like, "Ooh, we should probably really, really check and make sure her patients are actually dead." Like,
Is that hard? Again, I'm no medicologist, but
what kind of hospital lets the grandma operate on her granddaughter niece anyway?
yeah, this isn't some small town where there's only one doctor and nobody else to
Right?
do it.
It's Los Angeles.
I think you can find surgeons in Los Angeles.
You know, you would think that there would be plenty of doctors, but no. And once again, nobody checks to see if the body's in the morgue. So now, am I happy that Luna's sticking around? Absolutely. I love me a bad girl. I love
Yeah,
me a bad girl. I hope that
it's not
I hope
personal.
she's Sheila 2.0. We need a Sheila 2.0. Kimberlyn Brown is going to want to stop acting at some point,
And
right? We need a Sheila
Sheila's
2.0,
or Sheila's going to run out of toes and she'll just keep tipping forward when she tries to
right?
walk.
That's what I think. I think we're counting down her lives by her toes at this point. So we only have 8 left. So
So
we're
we
going
need,
to need a Luna.
yeah, we need a, what is it, a protege.
Yes.
Uh,
And Luna's really good at being bad.
no, she's great, and it's great to have diverse actresses with good roles. So this is all good stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of diversity, we got to go head on over to Days of Our Lives.
Okay, Days of Our Lives. Oh, actually, yes. So from Luna to my question: how many Asians live in Salem? So far, we've only seen 2. We know Sophia has 2 brothers. We don't know anything about Sophia's father. So here's my question. By now, Amy and Tate have met little baby Tessara when Leo was walking him around. How many Asian babies do they think get abandoned in fire stations in Salem at the same time as Sophia has given birth to a baby that she won't let anybody see, and she said has given away for adoption?
Tate has grown up in this environment, okay? And when he wasn't in this environment, he was with Teresa. All
He,
right.
he grew up in LA with Teresa. He didn't grow up in Salem.
Well, no, I mean, between the two of them, between Brady and Teresa, this child has lived every kind of trauma you can possibly imagine.
That's true.
And you would think with Teresa as a mother, he would be on edge about a scam.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since his uncle Andrew was kidnapped as a baby and given up for adoption to Bo Buchanan. I'm kidding, it wasn't Bo Buchanan. It was Robert S. Woods playing a character named Paul, but we all know he's Bo Buchanan from One Life to Live. So that happened to his older brother Andrew. Think of all the children in Salem that have been either kidnapped and given away or claimed to be dead. We just went through this with his uncle Eric. But here's the thing: if it was just any generic baby, I mean, they even had Marlena when she met, little baby Jude, say, "Oh, he looks like you did when you were a baby, Eric." But okay, here's Tate's a kid. He doesn't know that the kid's not the spitting image of him. But how many Asian babies are abandoned in Salem at the same time as Sophia claims that she gave her baby away? So that's my
Listen,
first question.
Nobody's ever accused Tate of being intelligent, okay?
This is true. You are so wise. You are so wise. But the other thing, so that was not my favorite thing, but we raved about Days of Our Lives last week. I'm ready to rave this week. Belle exposing EJ raping Sammy in court, then EJ exposing that they're sleeping together with Johnny on the stand. Peak soap. That's what soaps are for. That's the kind of thing you have to know the backstory. This is a story that couldn't be done in a 2-hour TV movie because it had to have been done 20 years ago when EJ first raped Sammy. This was wonderful. This is what we watch soaps for. I love them. I want them. And I'm wondering if now that Sammy's back in town, we're about to get a redux of Sammy, Austin, and Carrie, only with Sammy, J. Bell. And I do not hate it as long as it's EJ and Belle for the win in the end. Not if this is just another way to get EJ and Sammy together. As Belle said today, Sammy's love language is manipulation. I know they have their fans. I know Sammy and EJ have their fans, but they've just never really worked together for me. A, because of that little rape thingy, and B, because I never got that they were like really into each other. I think they kind of like messing with each other. So I'm open to another triangle with Sammy, but this time it better be EJ and Belle. That's all I have to say.
I like that. I'm also EJ and Belle.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's
Sammy and Austin. I'm not Carrie and Austin. I am Sammy and Austin, but I'm EJ and Belle.
Where do you put Lucas in that?
Dying alone.
You didn't even have to think about that, did you? Where do you put Sean Douglas in that?
Oh, okay. See, also just die alone.
Okay. All right. So you
No,
really
no. I want Sean Douglas to be with somebody like Jada.
Sean and Jada
Yes.
were great.
They were so good. They even each other out. They're on the same wavelength. They are very good together. They very much understand each other. I like that.
Yeah.
They
But
work really well together.
Yeah,
I
so
like
I'm
it.
excited about them, but I'm really excited about EJ and
I
Belle. I
think
think we're clear about that.
I think Lucas should just be a player.
Where is he now? I can't even remember. Hiding, jail?
Is he
Honestly,
hiding?
I don't remember where Lucas is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess that means how much. And I know Sammy and Lucas have their fans too. And honestly, I prefer Sammy and Lucas to Sam because there's something sweet about them. Because like when they first got together, they were younger. They were both bad, but they
Yeah,
kind
they're
of,
like the misfits.
yeah, exactly. So they kind of clicked. But my thing is EJ and Belle, and Sammy can do her worst.
Yeah.
But we want EJ and Belle. So
I like to see Sammy torture them a little bit. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. It'll help Belle see how much she really wants EJ. Sammy's torture
Yes.
has that effect on things. So she's really a giver.
She
She's
really
really
is. She
she
really
really-
does step in and fix things.
yes. She basically she's a catalyst. She makes things happen. So that's it for now. I'm Alina Adams. My novel, Go On Pretending, takes place during the early days of soaps, and you can find it wherever books are sold. And remember, we want to hear from you about which couples shows are trying to make happen, but they are never going to happen. This can be from a soap currently on the air or one of the gone but not forgotten ones. For instance, remember when Santa Barbara tried to make us think that Cruz could fall for Kelly? That was something that happened. Or when Ryan's Hope gave us Jill and a dude named Dakota. Leave us your thoughts in the comments or email us at amber@soaphub.com.
And I'm Amber Sinclair, managing editor of Soap Hub. You can find me here every week or on TikTok under the username Destroy the Canvas, where I showcase my silly little art and my life with all the birds that live in this house. There's 6 of them. They're all parrots. They're really cute. Make sure to join us next week, and we'll have even more to say about all your favorite soaps, past and present. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit soaphub.com, where we have recaps, we have interviews, and we have spoilers. And we'll see you all soon.